Life is happening right now, not next year. Not when circumstances finally line up. Not when the chaos settles, or the bills shrink, or the relationship becomes perfect. Right now. In this breath. In this moment. And yet most people don't live here. They live in their memories, or in their fears, or in imagined futures that exhaust them before they even get out of bed. But joy, true, lasting, soul-deep joy, doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from learning how to see the moment you already have. Welcome to Enjoy Your Life, the hidden keys to happiness, your guide to discovering what the competition often overlooks. That joy isn't something you chase, it's something you unlock. Today, we begin the journey together. If anything resonates with you, pause, breathe it in and let it land. And if a line hits your heart, share it, save it, pass it to someone who needs the reminder that joy is still possible. Introduction. Why happiness feels hard, but isn't. There's something universal about the human experience. We all want to be happy. Yet many of us secretly believe we're not allowed to be. We say things like, I'll be happy when, I'll enjoy myself after, I'll rest once, I'll feel grateful if, but life keeps moving, and those moments we're waiting for, they don't arrive the way we imagined. Happiness isn't delayed, it's denied. By us. Not because we're broken, not because we're unworthy, but because no one ever taught us how to live joyfully in a world designed to distract us from joy. This audiobook is that teaching. In the next 6 parts, you'll learn why joy is a skill, not an accident. Why gratitude rewires your emotional architecture. How forgiveness frees the mind. Why positive thinking is not naive. It's neurological. How to build inner peace in a world that thrives on noise. Why appreciation must happen now, not in a distant imagined future. And the 12 hidden keys to a truly joyful life. Today, we begin with the foundation of all happiness. Dear friend, you are definitely on the right track if you are watching this video. Like, subscribe, and write in the comments which topic or problem concerns you the most. We promise to prepare a professional video explanation at your request. Chapter 1. Accept yourself completely. There is no joy without self-acceptance, none. You can fake confidence, you can accumulate accomplishments, you can collect praise, validation, admiration, you can build the perfect life on the outside. But if you don't accept yourself on the inside, nothing feels enough. Why? Because joy cannot exist in a war zone, and many people are at war with themselves, silently, constantly, exhaustingly. Think about it. How often do you criticize yourself for being too much or not enough? How often do you judge your body, your past, your mistakes, your pace in life? How often do you replay the moments you wish you handled better? How often do you punish yourself for being human? We forget something important. You are not a project to fix. You are a person to understand. And acceptance is not resignation. It's recognition. It's saying, yes, I am imperfect. Yes, I am still learning. Yes, I've made mistakes. And yes, I am still worthy of love, peace, joy, and belonging exactly as I am. Especially as I am. The moment you stop fighting yourself is the moment joy finally has space to enter. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love. Would you use the same insults, the same pressure, the same criticism? Never. So, why do you use it on the person who hears your voice more than anyone else in the world? You. Self-acceptance is not a switch that flips. It's a daily decision, a gentle returning, a softening, a willingness to meet yourself with kindness even when you don't feel kind. And something magical happens when you do. Your inner world becomes a safe place again. Confidence increases, stress reduces, joy rises, life feels lighter. Not because life is easier, but because you're finally on your own side. This is where joy begins. But joy grows in the presence of another secret. Chapter 2. Be grateful for everything. Happiness doesn't come from what you get. It comes from what you notice. There are people living lives half as comfortable as yours, experiencing twice as much joy. Why? Because gratitude has nothing to do with circumstances. Gratitude is a way of seeing. Most people look for what's missing. Grateful people look for what's already there. A warm meal, a quiet morning, a message from a friend, light through a window, breath in your lungs, a lesson learned the hard way, a moment that softened you, a moment that strengthened you. When you begin to practice gratitude, something happens inside the brain. The negative bias, the one wired for survival, begins to melt. You start recognizing blessings instead of problems, possibilities instead of fears, beauty instead of burdens. Life itself begins to glow. Not because life changed, but because you did. And here's the truth most people forget. Gratitude matters most when life doesn't look perfect. When you're stressed, when you're tired, when you're grieving, when you're doubting, when life is heavy. That's when gratitude becomes a lifeline, a stabilizer, a recentering, a reminder that even in darkness, small lights are still burning. Try this today. List 3 things that went right. 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things you often overlook. Do it again tomorrow and the next day. Over time, gratitude stops being a practice and becomes your perspective. Chapter 3. Embrace the present moment fully. Most people rush through life as if the present moment is an obstacle standing between them and the life they want. They treat today as a bridge, a stepping stone, a waiting room. But here's the heartbreaking truth. Most of life is right now. Not the big moments, not the milestones, not the achievements, not the dramatic turns or the life-changing opportunities. Life is the morning sunlight, the quiet walk to your car, the way your hands feel when they warm around a cup, the softness of your breath, the stillness before the day begins, the laughter you weren't expecting, the silence that reminds you you're alive. When you start living in the present moment, really living in it, joy begins to visit you more often. Because joy doesn't hide in the future. Joy hides in the ordinary. But our minds love to complicate the ordinary. We replay past mistakes. We worry about future outcomes. We rehearse imaginary conversations. We prepare for disasters that never arrive. We hold our breath, waiting for something better. But this moment, this small, simple, unpolished moment, is the only place joy can actually exist. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. When you learn to drop into the present, your senses sharpen, your thoughts soften, your heart opens. This is why the happiest people aren't the richest, or the most accomplished, or the luckiest. They are the most present. They have learned how to be where they are, not mentally everywhere else. Try this. Wherever you are right now, notice one thing you see, one thing you hear, one thing you feel. Congratulations. You just stepped into your life. Attention is the doorway to happiness. Presence is the key. Chapter 4. Appreciate the people around you. If there is one regret people confess at the end of their lives, it's this. I didn't appreciate the people I loved while they were still here. We underestimate the power of appreciation because we assume people already know how much they matter to us. They don't. Not unless we say it. Not unless we show it. Not unless we live like their presence is a gift, not an obligation. Humans are fragile, temporary, changing, growing, trying, hurting, hoping. We forget that everyone around us is living a life we know nothing about. Everyone is carrying something, a fear, a loss, a doubt, a memory, a longing, a private battle, a hidden exhaustion. When you begin to appreciate people deeply, your relationships transform. Appreciation softens conflict, it strengthens connection, it deepens trust, it builds belonging, it heals wounds silently, it reminds people they matter in a world that often tells them they don't. But to appreciate others, you must notice them. Notice their effort. Notice their kindness. Notice their consistency. Notice the small things they do that you've been taking for granted. Because here's the truth. Most relationships don't fall apart from a lack of love. They fall apart from a lack of appreciation. It takes only seconds to say, "I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. I noticed what you did today. You matter more than you know. I'm glad we crossed paths." These simple sentences can change the course of someone's entire day, sometimes their life. And here's what many people overlook. Appreciation doesn't just help the person receiving it. It transforms the giver even more. When you appreciate people, you begin to see humanity differently. You soften, you warm, you open. Joy becomes easier, connection becomes deeper, life becomes richer. Because happiness is not just about how you feel internally. It's about how you stand in relation to others. The more you appreciate people, the more life begins to overflow with meaning. Transition. In Part 3, you'll learn the surprising link between joy and letting go, why forgiveness is freedom, how to live lightly in a world that feels heavy, the skill of releasing what steals your peace, and the emotional detox that changes everything. This is where your happiness becomes no longer fragile, but unshakable. Chapter 5. Let go of what you cannot control. Friend, write your opinion on this topic in the comments. Do you agree with us or not? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. One of the greatest enemies of happiness is the illusion of control. We want life to unfold exactly as we hope. Smoothly, predictably, comfortably, conveniently. We want people to behave the way we expect. We want things to go according to plan. We want outcomes to match effort perfectly. But the universe doesn't operate on our preferences. Life doesn't consult us before shifting direction. Circumstances don't check in before disrupting our routines. And that's why so many people suffer unnecessarily. They try to control what was never theirs to control. We try to control how people feel, how they interpret us, how they respond, what they think, what they choose, the past, the future, every outcome, every detail, every possibility. The result? Stress, overthinking, resentment, exhaustion, disappointment, a heavy heart, a restless mind. But the happiest people aren't the ones who control everything. They're the ones who learn to release what they were never meant to carry. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is wisdom. Letting go is strength. Letting go is freedom, and freedom is happiness. Here's the truth. You cannot control the waves, but you can become a skilled swimmer. You cannot control the weather, but you can choose how you dress, how you travel, how you move through the storm. You cannot control people, but you can choose your boundaries, your expectations, your energy, your responses. Happiness begins when you take your power back from things that were draining it. Try this. Whenever you feel tension rising, whenever you want to force an outcome, ask yourself, is this within my control, or am I fighting a battle already lost? If it's within your control, act. If it's not, release. Release with compassion. Release with acceptance. Release with the understanding that your peace is more valuable than your need to control. Chapter 6. Forgive and let go of resentment. If there's a poison to happiness, it's resentment. Resentment is like drinking something toxic and hoping someone else suffers. It burdens you, it drains you, it blocks joy, it steals energy, it closes your heart, it darkens your days, it interrupts your sleep, it keeps the wound alive. Holding on to resentment is a form of self-punishment. But here's the truth people often misunderstand. Forgiveness is not about saying, what you did was okay. Forgiveness says, what you did cannot control me anymore. I choose peace over pain. I refuse to let this memory steal any more of my life. I release myself from the emotional debt. I deserve freedom. Forgiveness is not about accepting the past. It's about choosing the future. It's not about excusing behavior. It's about refusing to be imprisoned by it. It's not about reconciliation. It's about liberation. Because resentment weighs you down while the person you resent may not even remember the details. You deserve better than to live in emotional chains. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks those chains. Not instantly, not perfectly, but gradually. Forgiveness often begins as a decision long before it feels like a feeling. You don't forgive because the pain vanished. You forgive because you're tired of carrying it. Try this today. Think of someone you still hold resentment toward. Someone whose actions planted anger in your heart. Someone whose memory stings even now. Then whisper, I release this. I release the hold it has on my life. I release the story I've been repeating. I choose peace. You don't need to say it to them. Say it to yourself. Because forgiveness is not for them. It has always been for you. And something beautiful happens when you let go. Your heart feels lighter. Your chest expands. Your breath deepens. Joy becomes possible again. Letting go creates space, and joy requires space. Transition, coming next. In Part 4, you will discover why comparison is the thief of happiness, how to stop measuring your life with someone else's ruler, the art of celebrating your own path, how slowing down actually accelerates joy, and why the pace of modern life is robbing you of presence. Part 4 is where your inner peace becomes stronger than the world's noise. Chapter 7. Stop comparing yourself to others. If joy had a greatest enemy, it would be comparison. Nothing drains happiness faster than measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel. Comparison makes you forget your own progress, your own strengths, your own timeline, your own beauty, your own growth. And in today's world, where everyone's victories are displayed publicly and everyone's struggles are hidden privately, comparison has become the invisible suffering we don't talk about enough. You compare your pace to someone else's breakthrough. You compare your daily life to someone's curated moment. You compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 40. You compare your insecurities to someone's confidence, and you lose sight of the truth. Your life is not supposed to look like theirs. It is supposed to look like yours. When you compare, you don't see reality. You see illusion. You see the finished product, not the years of work. You see the smile, not the sleepless nights. You see the achievement, not the anxiety. You see the beauty, not the insecurities. You see the success, not the sacrifices. No one posts their doubts. No one broadcasts their failures. No one highlights their loneliness. No one advertises their tears. People share their peaks. But happiness is built in the valleys. So here's a truth worth remembering. You cannot enjoy your own life while wishing for someone else's. Your journey is not behind. Your timing is not wrong. Your pace is not slow. Your growth is not invisible. Your story is not inferior. It is yours, and that makes it priceless. Imagine how joyful you'd feel if you redirected the energy you spend comparing into appreciating your own path. Imagine how light you'd become if you stopped counting someone else's blessings instead of your own. You don't bloom by staring at other gardens. You bloom by watering your own. Chapter 8. Slow down and savor. Life. Modern life moves at a speed the human heart was never built for. Everything must be fast. Fast decisions, fast progress, fast communication, fast growth, fast success, fast responses, fast results. But happiness isn't found in speed. It's found in depth. You cannot enjoy a moment you rush through. You cannot appreciate a blessing you barely notice. You cannot experience peace when your mind races ahead of your life. Slowing down is not laziness. It is wisdom. It is choosing to experience life rather than merely survive it. When you slow down, conversations become richer, meals become enjoyable, walks become peaceful, work becomes intentional, rest becomes nourishing, small moments become joyful, life becomes meaningful, and something powerful happens. You start to see the beauty that speed was blurring out. The way the sky looks at 7 a.m., the warmth of water on your hands, the smile from a stranger, the quiet at the end of the day, the softness in someone's voice, the comfort of a familiar routine, the miracle of simply being alive. Slowing down is not about doing less, it's about feeling more. It's about reclaiming your presence from the rush that steals it. It's about realizing that many of life's joys exist in the spaces between activities, not in the activities themselves. Here's a simple practice. Choose one thing today to do 20% slower. Walk slower, eat slower, breathe slower, speak slower, think slower, respond slower, feel slower, and notice what happens. You become calmer, you become lighter, you become more aware, you become more grateful, you become more alive. Speed makes life efficient, but slowness makes life beautiful. Transition, coming up. Next in part 5, you'll discover the beauty of enough, the secret of finding joy in simplicity, how to protect your peace with boundaries, how to detach from negativity without guilt, and how to live with emotional lightness. Part 5 is where happiness becomes sustainable, not fleeting. Chapter 9. Learn to say enough. Please like and subscribe if you want a better future. A better future for your children, your family, and yourself. It's very difficult to achieve success today, but I'm sure you'll succeed. All you have to do is learn and discover new things. There is a quiet joy that comes from a word many people fear: enough. We live in a world that constantly whispers, do more, have more, achieve more, prove more, be more. And if you're not careful, you begin to believe that happiness is always one achievement away, one purchase away, one improvement away, one milestone away. But the pursuit of more creates a life where nothing feels like enough. Not your progress, not your accomplishments, not your possessions, not your relationships, not even you. Happiness is wanting less. You hear people say, no, happiness is realizing you already have enough. Enough strength, enough talent, enough progress for today, enough beauty in your life you've forgotten to admire, enough reasons to be grateful, enough blessings that already exist. Imagine this. What if nothing major changed in your life, but your appreciation for it deepened? What if you stopped trying to outrun yourself? What if you allowed yourself to rest from the pressure of endless improvement? What if you whispered tonight, for today, this is enough? Wouldn't your shoulders relax? Wouldn't your breath soften? Wouldn't your heart unclench? We chase so much, but joy often arrives only after you stop chasing. When you say enough, you don't settle. You stabilize. You reclaim emotional balance. You anchor yourself to the present. This is not complacency. This is contentment. And contentment is not the enemy of ambition. It is the foundation of inner peace. Chapter 10. Find joy in simplicity. Big joys are rare. Small joys are everywhere. But most of us overlook the simple things because we've been conditioned to believe happiness must be extraordinary. We think joy comes from once-in-a-lifetime moments, huge accomplishments, dramatic breakthroughs, impressive experiences. But real happiness, the kind that lasts, comes from the simple moments woven into each day. The smell of something cooking, a warm shower, fresh air on your skin, a good conversation, a clean space, a quiet evening, a familiar song, a moment of stillness before sleep. These small joys don't announce themselves, they whisper. And if you're always rushing, if you're always wanting more, if you're always chasing the next milestone, you'll miss the beauty of the life you're already living. Simplicity is not about having less. It is about needing less to be fulfilled. Simplicity shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here. Imagine walking through your home and feeling gratitude, not impatience. Imagine looking at your schedule and seeing opportunity, not overwhelm. Imagine ending each day with appreciation, not frustration. When your life becomes simpler, your happiness becomes clearer. Here's a truth most people discover too late. Life isn't better when it's bigger. Life is better when it's intentional. Try this exercise. Today, choose one simple pleasure and savor it fully. A slow cup of tea, a short walk outside, 5 minutes of sunlight, a moment of quiet breathing. Let yourself enjoy it without guilt, without multitasking, without rushing. This is how joy enters your life quietly, like sunlight slipping through curtains. Simplicity makes joy visible again. Transition. Part 6 will bring everything together. In the final section, you will learn The art of protecting your peace with healthy boundaries. How to detach from negativity without feeling heartless. How to cultivate daily happiness habits. The 12th and final secret that ties this entire audiobook together. And a closing message designed to stay with you for life. Part 6 is where joy becomes a lifestyle, not a lesson. Chapter 11. Protect your peace with boundaries. There comes a point in every person's life when they must learn that joy is not just something you create, it's something you must protect. And protecting your joy requires boundaries. Not harsh walls, not rigid defenses, not emotional distance, but clear, calm, self-respecting limits that keep your life aligned with your values and your well-being. Because the truth is simple. You cannot live a joyful life in an environment that drains you. Some people drain you with constant negativity. Some drain you with drama. Some drain you with unrealistic expectations. Some drain you with emotional chaos. Some drain you simply because they take and never give. But boundaries are not about punishing others. They're about honoring yourself. A boundary is a declaration. My peace matters. My energy matters. My time matters. My mental health matters. My joy matters. The happiest people in the world are not those with easy lives. They're the ones who learned how to say, "No, thank you. I can't take that on right now. That doesn't work for me. Please speak to me respectfully. I won't continue this conversation in this tone. I need space. I'm not available for that today." Boundaries are not selfish. They are self-respect in action. And here's something few people ever realize. A lack of boundaries creates resentment. Healthy boundaries create love. Because when you prevent burnout, when you preserve your emotional capacity, when you maintain your peace, you show up better for the people you care about. Joy needs room to breathe. Boundaries create that room. Chapter 12. Detach from negativity and live lightly. Here is one of the deepest secrets of happiness. Joy is not the absence of problems. It is the absence of unnecessary attachment. We attach ourselves to things that were never meant to define us. Someone's opinion, someone's mistake, someone's rejection, someone's misunderstanding, someone's approval, someone's bad mood, someone's choices, and every attachment becomes a chain hooked into your peace. When you detach, you are not becoming cold. You are becoming free. Detachment does not mean, "I don't care." It means, "I choose what I give my care to." Detachment is emotional clarity. It is choosing not to be pulled into storms that are not yours. It is letting others feel their feelings without letting them drown yours. It is hearing criticism without letting it define your worth. It is noticing negativity without letting it enter your spirit. It is understanding that people's reactions often have nothing to do with you. It is choosing peace over the urge to prove yourself. Explain yourself. Defend yourself. When you detach from what weighs you down, you rise naturally. And rising feels like joy. Lightness, freedom, spaciousness, breath, relief. Imagine living with nothing unnecessary sitting on your heart. No grudges, no resentment, no obsession with being right. No need for constant approval. No fear of judgment, no emotional clutter. Just space, just clarity, just peace. Detachment is not losing your humanity. It is reclaiming it. The 12th secret. Choose joy daily. Dear viewer, please write in the comments what interested you most in the video. This will help us improve our videos. After everything we've explored, after all the emotional shifts and mindset transformations, after all the insights and revelations, here is the truth at the core of a joyful life. Joy is a daily choice. Not an accident, not a coincidence, not a privilege reserved for the lucky. Joy is a decision. I choose to focus on what's right, not what's missing. I choose gratitude over complaint. I choose presence over distraction. I choose peace over drama. I choose forgiveness over resentment. I choose boundaries over burnout. I choose simplicity over noise. I choose appreciation over comparison. I choose life over worry. Joy is not something you wait for. It's something you practice, something you nurture, something you cultivate intentionally. And the more you choose joy, the more natural it becomes. The more you practice happiness, the more your brain learns it. The more you honor your peace, the more your heart protects it. The more you see beauty, the more beauty reveals itself. This is the hidden magic of life. What you focus on expands. So focus on what makes your soul feel alive. Final closing message. Your life is happening now. You've reached the end of Enjoy Your Life, the hidden keys to happiness. But this isn't the end of your journey. This is the beginning of a new way of living. A life where joy isn't rare, but welcomed. Not accidental, but intentional. Not postponed, but practiced daily. So let me ask you something important. What if you decided, starting today, to stop waiting for happiness? What if you let yourself enjoy small moments without guilt? What if you treated your joy as something sacred? What if you chose peace even when chaos is louder? What if you practiced gratitude not as a task, but as a lifestyle? What if you spoke to yourself with compassion instead of criticism? What if you allowed today, with all its imperfections, to be worthy of joy? Because it is. It always was. If this audiobook touched you, hit like, not for me, but as a personal promise that you will practice joy more intentionally. Share in the comments. Which secret will you begin with today? And if you'd like another audiobook on happiness, confidence, healing, emotional intelligence, or any journey of self-mastery, tell me what you want next. Your joy matters. Your peace matters. Your life matters. And it's time you enjoy it.